Hi, I'm Eileen Roach, and welcome to Designs and Machine Embroidery's Facebook Live session today. Last week, I wasn't here. I was on the road in Las Vegas, and if you tuned in, you saw me start the session in blinding sunlight outside of Quiltique, a Baby Lock Bernina dealership in Henderson, Nevada. And I gave you a tour of that beautiful store, which was an awful lot of fun. And then I stayed for 2 days there. We had a lace event with Lisa Knight, which was super fun. But today, I'm going to talk about another specialty technique. It was early in February. I had promised that we would discuss specialty techniques through the month of February, which is National Embroidery Month. So today I'm going to discuss Mylar, and I know many of you like to use Mylar. So if you could just give me a shout out and let me know, like a thumbs up or a heart, if you have ever used Mylar, that would be great, because I know that it's tempting to use for sure, and it's enticing, and there are designs digitized specifically for Mylar. And if you have embroidery software, you can do that yourself also. Hi, Jacqueline Smith in rainy UK. Well, we had a lot of rain here the past couple of days in Dallas, Texas, but today, right now, the sun is coming out, although it's quite chilly. Well, by Texas standards, it's like 41. And I know if you're in Minnesota and it was 41 degrees, you'd be wearing shorts and sandals probably. But we're all cuddled up in heavy sweaters and so forth. So today, we're going to discuss Mylar. Now, you know, Mylar is a substrate that is thin, it's translucent, and it has quite a sheen. So it's going to add sparkle to your embroidery designs without adding any kind of metallic. So Vicki, you have used it with designs that were digitized for Mylar, and that's a great way to start for sure. You can find lots of designs that have been digitized just for Mylar. People often ask, can you wash it in the washing machine? You sure can. I would suggest turning the garment or tote bag inside out so that the Mylar isn't suffering from abrasion during the process. You can put it in the dryer on a low to medium heat. Don't fry it, on high heat. And of course, air drying is always the safe way to go. And let's see, Spavalis up in Denton. You never used Mylar, but you love the shimmer it provides. I agree. I like the shimmer that it provides also. And I have a couple samples to share with you. But, I'm always interested in knowing what kind of projects people put it on. I often see it on babies or children's wear. It adds nice sparkle to the yoke of a little girl's dress. It's fabulous on tote bags. It's really nice also in quilt blocks because you add that beautiful metallic effect without adding any weight, because the designs themselves are low stitch count, pretty much low stitch count designs. So how about if we head over to camera 2, and I'm going to show you some close-ups of some samples so you can see just how fun Mylar is. Let's go. Okay, so if you remember at Christmas time, my good friend Roy Garland shared this beautiful Santa Claus that he had digitized, right? And he used Mylar in the eyeglasses. Can you see how that shimmers when I move? And he also used it in Santa's jacket underneath that open lace design. Beautiful example of where to use Mylar. And then I have 2 butterflies. The butterfly on the bottom has been stitched with Mylar, and there you can see that sheen, that opalescence effect that it gives off. And the top doesn't have that Mylar. It's just regular embroidery thread. So I just love that. I mean, it's just charming. So a couple weeks ago, we did some puffy foam, and I had digitized this design, adding the puffy to this beehive hexagon shapes in the center. So I took that same design and redigitized it for Mylar. And now you can see how it really gives a nice sheen. Now you might not catch that beautiful sheen, but here in the studio, it's really just beautiful. And it's very lightweight. This design is very lightweight. So how do we stitch it? Well, the first thing we do is an outline of where to place the Mylar. Now, you don't have to cut individual pieces for each opening. You'll just lay a whole sheet down and then stitch the complex fill, which is the next color. And that is the thread that's going to sit on top of the Mylar and allow the Mylar to shine through. And then while it's still in the hoop, you just peel this away. And you can take your time. If you're using a monster hoop, you would most certainly place this on a flat surface, take it off of the machine. Be careful when you transport any kind of applique or any freestanding design in a monster hoop so that you don't push the fabric up through the center. I always transport it on the fabric shield that, these come between the magnetic frame and the bottom. So when I transport from the machine, I carry it like that on the shield. Then I don't have to worry about the fabric becoming dislodged. And so what about these little bits in the middle? Well, I could take some scissors and just kind of nip that away and then trim it a little bit closer. Or I can even wait till the satin outline is applied and then pull away those little bits. You can see where the satin outline is here. And if you have some little bits left, it's no big deal. You can just trim them close. It does perforate very nicely along all of those needle penetrations. So it's so easy to add a little sparkle to your projects with Mylar. And when you have a lot of projects, that means you probably have a lot of embroidery designs. So how do you keep track of all those embroidery designs? Well, I use a program called Perfect Stitch Viewer that allows me to see my embroidery designs on my computer. And, that's really important because, embroidery designs usually have names that are numbers like 1, 2, 7, 9, 84. You're never going to remember that, right? So I like to use Perfect Stitch Viewer. And Perfect Stitch Viewer is a software application that you load onto your computer, and it works in the background of your computer. You don't ever open this program again. But let me show you how it works and what it does and how I keep track of my design. So we'll switch now over to PowerPoint so you can take a look at my computer. And this is how normally my computer would look. So I am in my Explorer, right? This is just a folder that's opened on my computer. And this is my collection of neckline designs that Nancy Zeman and I had created together. And if you look where that red arrow is pointing down in the lower right corner of your computer or screen, you have two options. And maybe you're not actually seeing that. You have, you can switch over to image view. And when you do that, all of your embroidery designs immediately change into images, into thumbnails. So you can see, oh, I can see this design is for the sleeve, this is for the left neckline, this is for the right neckline, and so on. And it's fabulous. Now, there's another way to also view, and that's at the top of your toolbar. You have 4 selections: File, Home, Share, and View. So if you click on View, these are your choices. You can look at details, which is often the default setting on your computer, or you can click on large icon or even medium icon, and then your images will appear. And that's what helps me keep track of my embroidery designs so much easier than just all those details, those names. Oh my goodness, it's an awful lot to keep up with. So whenever I'm really looking for a design, I don't have to know the number. I usually know the title of the folder, like necklines for sure, and then all those images appear. So don't you think that's an easy way to stay on top of your collection of, your whole library of designs? Because boy, over the years, I'm sure if you're like me, you have hundreds, okay, maybe thousands of embroidery designs, right? And they're hard to keep track of. So let's see. So Christy, thanks for joining us. You're in Texas also. That's great. Yeah. So hopefully you're having sunshine. Maybe not though. You know, Texas is such a big state. It's like 10 hours from coast edge to edge. So you never know. And hi, Judy Warren. You're in Hawaii. We're always happy to have you join us. I think you're an early riser out there. It's probably early in the morning. So I would love to know how many of you are using some kind of thumbnail software and how many of you are also using Mylar. If you could kind of share those thoughts. And when you use Mylar, what are you stitching it on? Are you stitching it on quilt blocks, tote bags, clothing, or what kind of designs would they be good for? Well, they're really great for fish. They're also very good for automobiles and boats, any kind of water effect. It's lovely to add some Mylar to give a little shimmer. I can just picture some beautiful landscape quilts that would really benefit from some Mylar. And you know, some of our door projects probably would benefit from Mylar also. In the February door, I had a mailbox. I'm going to go ahead and, as you can see right there on the February door, I had a mailbox in front of the cabin. And, you know, I digitized that to just be a regular embroidery design, but I most certainly could have used Mylar there, and that would have given, you know, a metal look to that mailbox, which was my intention, to make it look like a metal mailbox. So that's super fun. We've had so many people use the doors. Oh, Laurie, and you love Perfect Embroidery Pro and you're adding Mylar to designs. Yeah. Well, just when you do that, when you're digitizing on your own, you're going to change your complex fill density to a very open weave. I like around 2.0, maybe 2.2. You're going to experiment with that. I always suggest, you know, digitize maybe a small square or a circle with different density settings, and then stitch out 3 or 4 of those 1-inch blocks with the Mylar and see which one you like the best. And, you know, do it on felt, do it on something that you don't mind, you know, testing on. Okay, so would you like to see some of the doors that have been coming to our office? We are just tickled with how many people are participating in this program. So we have a door here by Candy Bray, and look what she used for her skyline. She didn't use a blue sky. She used a forest scene, which really makes that cabin look like it's in the snowy forest. I love the fabric that she selected for the cabin itself. It looks, you know, it's wood grain, beautiful, just beautiful. And even her door has a wood grain. And I was remiss in not adding the name to this example on the left, so forgive me for that. But beautiful brick fabric that was used in that selection. And then Cheryl and John Richards, they chose a pretty traditional look, but I love that they added a charm heart, a metal heart to their door. That's really adorable. And then Hearts on Fire with Chris Yost, right? And she has 2 of her pets kind of kissing in the front doorway there. Oh, that's just charming. Really, really lovely selection. Hearts everywhere. That screams Valentine's. And look at the squirrel up on the roof. Isn't that cute? And then Christine Cunningham Alford, she used some great fabrics here. She added a really interesting print to her door to really make it look like the quilting house. I thought that was a charming way to label her door. And then Cindy Knight King, she added hearts, polka dots to hers. Beautiful, really super fun. And then she put February up in the top left corner. Can you see where she stitched that up there? That looks really good. Cindy Stower, she used cork for her cabin. That was a great idea. Really looks like a log cabin. And then that kind of reminds me of, you know, Frost, and it just looks absolutely charming. She used all blue accents, really lovely. And then Debbie Howe on the right, kind of a traditional look with the plaid. And I like how she added some hearts in the window of the door. That was really clever. Very, very nice. She hung a heart from the icicle on the left-hand side. Okay, and then Iris Zeller added a heart and number 3 for her address right on the top of the door. She skipped the window. She just eliminated that and added her address there. Very cute. And another adorable little squirrel and ice skates on, this is Isabel Briand on the right-hand side. And just a great addition. Love those ice skates. They're adorable. And then Janet Mills, she actually did 2 doors. So on the left, she has those candy hearts that are a great memory for all of us, right? And Arnell, you thought it would be a good idea to use Mylar on the door windows. It would really shine. Yep, and that's a great idea. And I'm going to keep that in mind for a future door project. March is done, and I'll be ready to reveal that next week. And hi, John Troll. I bet it's pretty cold up there in Minnesota. Okay, let's also take a look at Janet Mills' door number 2. She added her puppy, and he's kind of 3D. So I don't think he's actually stitched on the door. He's probably tacked down, and there's a little bit of space between him and the actual cabin. Very nice. And she's got a small duck underneath the mailbox. Just love all these different additions that people are doing. And these 2 are rather traditional with what we've been seeing, and they follow directions really well. But Lisa Cerami on the left-hand side, she changed her roof line to a more soft, really kind of snowbank effect on top of her door. So I guess she has some digitizing software that she's been playing around with. And then we have a wrought iron chair added to this door on the left-hand side, and that is Maud Percival. And then on the right-hand side, we have Maxine Gradinger. And I love the green door. That's so festive. I really like it. And her sky fabric looks like a batik, a little white on blue. Very nice, very attractive. And on the left is another rather traditional one, and that is Mona, I'm sorry. I wrote the names in white, and when they came up into the slideshow, they're now black, so I'm trying to read them. And Muriel Butler on the right-hand side. That's beautiful. And I like her sky fabric, too. It doesn't have to be traditional sky. I like that print. It's very cool. Norma Fitch Gensler on the left-hand side. Now, let's take a close look. She's got a cardinal on the roof, and then she positions this wall hanging, I think, on a quilt top that's supposed to extend the walkway. And at least that's my feeling that I get here. I haven't had a conversation with her, but very cute, really attractive. And then Rita Jackson, she's added 2 charms. She has that padlock heart as, a decoration on the center of the door. And then she has a key, like the key to my heart, hanging from the snowman's branch. Isn't that sweet? I love that. Very nice. And Rose Gully, blues again, love the blues. And Ruth Lamb, those horizontal straight lines you see there are her pins. She's just about to finish it and top stitch it, I think. So very well done. And then Sarah McWhorter added red fabric and just a traditional kind of red print tone on tone. That looks really lovely. And then So Retired, we don't always get their names. She added a small address plaque on the cabin wall there to the left of the door, 2020. Isn't that nice? So that's either the year or it's her address. And she also added some metal charms that have some lace hearts or tiny small hearts. They might be suede, actually, hanging from a string. Oh, I think that's really cute. Very well done. I think the pink is very charming. So we still have Susan Weehee on the right. Now look at her placement of that print fabric on her door. So this is kind of an open print, I would say. It's not real tiny tone on tone, but she did, fussy placement, like fussy cutting, where the medallions on that print are, centered horizontally and also vertically. And they add a really nice element to that door. And then Susan Aslin Wall has added pink and purple. My granddaughter would love that combination. Notice she's got the squirrel sitting on the welcome mat, and she has skates hanging from the mailbox, and she has a pile of snowballs at the base of the snowman. And I think some of those items were actually from Sue Brown at OML Embroidery. So if some of you follow her, I know she did a sew along and either offered or she, had those other designs available for her people that did the sew along with her. And Gail, you like the pink door? I like the pink door too. And Pamela, yes, great. Thank you for saying that's a great tip for supporting the monster hoop. Monster hoops are fabulous hoops. I use them all the time, but you do have to use it. You have to embroider wisely, responsibly when you use any kind of embroidery machine or hoop. And on a magnetic hoop, you just have to make sure that you do place it on a flat surface so that you don't inadvertently stick your hand through the fabric, because it's going to push right up all the way through and you'll be very disappointed. So we always suggest that you proceed with caution, when removing the hoop from the machine, working on a project and reattaching it. And when you do that, it's best to hold the frame tight together in one hand. So here, and I'll go grab my hoop and then we'll come back to the main camera so you can take a look. So when you're going to remove a hoop from the machine, I like to remove it by firmly holding both top and bottom frames together and pulling that away from the machine. So I would open the lever at the machine and then with both, top and bottom firmly held in my hand, I start to remove it. And as soon as it is off the machine, that's when I place that plastic shield underneath to transport it over to my work surface. Or if you're going to trim in your lap, and I know many of you like to trim in your lap, just place that plastic shield on your lap so that you, so that your knees don't push it through. And let's see. Oh, Gail, you're heading to Sew Expo next week. Lucky you. You're going to grab a monster hoop there from probably Quality Sewing. Good for you. I'm jealous that you're going to be up at Sew Expo. And for those of you who don't know what Sew Expo is, it is in Puyallup, Washington, and it is the industry's largest sewing show. It does have some quilting, but it has mainly sewing, pattern sewing and home decor, and boy, it's a fascinating event. And it's held in the fairgrounds in Puyallup. So they have really fun food. That's great, right? I have lots of fun memories from Puyallup. The last time I was there, my stitching sister Marie and I did the Friday Night Live, and that was an awful lot of fun. Okay, so what's coming up at Dime? Well, of course, we have events all over the country, right? We have Tina Bartolome heading down to Jacksonville, Florida, to Paula's Fine Fabrics, where she will host a lace event. And Tina's great, and her samples are phenomenal. So if you're in the Jacksonville area, go there. And then we have, locally here, Plano Sewing. Aine McCarthy will be there doing a camouflage lace on March 6th and 7th. And also that very same weekend, Quilts and Lace in Florida will be hosting a lace event with Ashley Jones. And then March 13th and 14th in Santa Fe, Sewing Center of Santa Fe will host Tina with a She Shed Embroidery Escape, which is a whole new Dime event. And this is the first time out with it. Gail, you're saying you were there. Were you there when Marie and I did the Friday Night Live event? I think that's maybe what you're saying. You were there. You were at that event. Oh, it was so much fun. My goodness, Marie and I had a great time. And in fact, just this weekend, I was with Steve Jeffrey. And if you were at that Friday Night Live, you'll know that Steve Jeffrey participated in that Friday Night Live presentation, and he did a karaoke to She Thinks My Tractor Is Sexy, and which I still have a video. And I often threaten that I'm going to share that someday, although I wouldn't do that to Steve Jeffrey. But boy, did we have fun. Oh, my goodness. And Delroy, thank you for joining us from the UK. It's great to have you here. Lisa Knight on March 20th, 21st is going to be at All Brands in San Antonio, Texas. And we're excited to have her down there. And at Green Sewing in Medford, Oregon, we'll have Cheryl Burnett. We'll be doing camouflage with lace. And then shortly after that, March 28th and 29th, Cheryl will be heading to Lomita, California, to AAA Sewing and Vacuum for a hands-on stitch lab. And that's with the Jeffrey family. Oh, they are lovely people. Just a wonderful event you'll have there. I know that. And that very same weekend, Ashley Jones will be at Jackman Fabrics in Fairview Heights, Illinois, and I'm going to join her. So I will be there on March 28th. That's a Saturday. This event is a Saturday and Sunday. And I plan on attending on Saturday. So I'm excited to go up and see our friends from Illinois. It's been a while since I've been up there. So that's what's happening with Dime. And, you know, it's the busy time of year where people are really getting out and starting to do events and traveling because, you know, it's as spring, the good weather comes and it gets easier to travel. So we're super excited. And Delia, you're in Charleston. Well, thanks for joining us from Charleston. That's a city that I've actually never been to, but I'm looking forward to going there someday. Let's see. Can you get a monster hoop for the creative icon? We have 2 hoops that are available right now for FOF and Viking, and they are the 120 by 120 and the 200 by 260. We are in development for 2 more FOF Viking hoops, and they are the, drum roll please, the 200 by 200 and the 200 by 360. Yay! So many people have been asking for a big hoop because of edge-to-edge quilting and large designs, and you have those wonderful sewing fields, and you want a monster hoop for that sewing field. So we listened and we're working on it. They're in production right now. They probably won't be available till May. I hate to say that, but that's probably when it's going to be. So, Christy, you love everybody's creativity with the doors. I know, me too. I am just tickled with how people are using this door to kind of jump off and add their own, of course, add their own fabrics, but lots of different other embellishments. And I have so much planned for, you know, March, April, June, July, August. Can't wait for the summer months. And of course, it'll be the fall again. So that'll be really fun. And we have someone from Israel. Jaya, thank you for joining us from Israel. It's nice to have you here today. I wonder what you're stitching on over there. What kind of things do you like to stitch? Presents for friends, grandbabies, children, garments that you like to wear? Maybe you'll share with us in your comments. And Retha, you have to go off to work. Yeah, I know, I'm at work too, but yeah, so, but you can always come back and watch, right? You can always come back and watch. It's up here forever, believe it or not. And then, hello, Isabella. Thank you for joining us from Vegas. Isabella is our dear friend usually outside of Paris, but right now she's here in Nevada. She came out to Las Vegas to be at our industry trade show. So I had the lovely opportunity to visit with her for a few days and enjoy a nice dinner. So thanks for joining us from Vegas, Isabella. And I hope you have a safe trip when you will head home in a little while, a couple days, right? And Carolyn, thanks for joining us from Ohio. So next week we have some really big, we have a big session planned because we're going to be revealing the March door, and that'll be an awful lot of fun. But before we do that, we have a really large announcement about our software. So for those of you who use any of our software, that whether it's Perfect Embroidery Pro or My Block Piecer, My Quilt Embellisher, Word Art and Stitches, we're going to have a new change to your daily experience in your software. It's a very good change. It is not going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to, you're not going to feel like you can't find anything. Everything is going to be very similar, but a little streamlined to make updating easier. And can't really reveal it till next Thursday, but we're very excited. And we did share it with our dealers in Las Vegas this weekend, so they know what's coming, and they thought it was a great idea also. So no more will you have to do update when you have 4 or 5 or 6 of our programs. It will be in one fell swoop. So, but I'll show it to you here. You'll see it first before the changes actually happen on your software. And it's easy. It's super easy. And it's all for the good, for sure. And hello, friend from Norway. Wow, I'm not going to try to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I guess we could try, but we won't. So anyway, thanks for joining us, though. And Susan from Idaho, you love our software. Gosh, I love it, too. I'm in it every day. It's always open on my desktop, you know. It's always running. I'd rather be in there than Microsoft Word or Outlook, you know, doing work documents, right? I'd rather be playing in my software. And whenever I go to a dealer, like when I was at Quiltique last week, oh, the ideas that I get, you know, and the fabrics and their samples were amazing. It makes me want to go right to my computer and start working on designs of my own, because, you know, all this inspiration from other people is motivating. And I hope it motivates you too to keep stitching. So next week, we're going to be here at 1 o'clock. We'll share some dime doors, some new ones that people have shared with us for February. And then you're going to see the March big reveal. And I know many dealers are going to start hosting dime door classes in their store. So ask your dealer if they'll do that, or if they are planning on participating. And if they don't know anything about it, just have them watch this or send my company an email or a phone call, and we'll get them set up so they could have a hands-on class featuring the doors. So would I ever consider holding an event in the new convention center in Denton? Wish more sewing and craft shows came here now that we have one. Well, that's a great idea. I don't have any plans for that right now. And, you know, my whole goal here at Dime is to support the independent retailer. So I would not host that event because I wouldn't want to compete with that independent retailer. But I know that there's a beautiful new convention center up there, so it's tempting. It's tempting. And I think that would be up to someone else who is actually in the show business, who actually puts on those type of events, to look at that facility. It would be a good one for sure. Hi, Connie from Michigan, and a newbie, Lois Ann. Well, welcome. This is the right place. If you're new, boy, just immerse yourself in this hobby, right? Watch Facebook Live, read blogs, go to your dealer, attend classes. You know, people think it's intimidating to get started, but really it's a hobby. You're supposed to have fun. Start with felt, you know. That doesn't have to be expensive fabric, doesn't have to be a beautiful garment that you want to embellish. Start with simple fabrics that you don't mind making some mistakes on, so that you can master this craft. And, you know, after just 10, 12, 20 hoopings, your confidence level will really rise. And that's all it takes, is just a little bit of experience. You'll learn from each project that you do. And when you make a mistake, take comfort in knowing you're only going to make that once, because, you know, mistakes are painful, but it helps us grow for sure. So we will say, hi, Amy Troll. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining us. So I'm going to sign off, and we're going to, Benita, you've downloaded the Embroidery Toolshed program. Is there video classes available to learn to use it? Yes, if you write in the right-hand column of the Embroidery Toolshed down in the shopping cart area, if you click on the ellipse, which is a tiny box, ... you will see a link to go to tutorials. So that will take you right to 12 tutorials for the Embroidery Toolshed. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that and be here next week at 1 o'clock. Super excited to show you everything next week. It'll be really fun.